Thank you, Dr. Braun. Our next speaker is Dr. Cherie Buisson, and she will now speak to us on the theme, If I Could Write a Letter to Me. Dr. Buisson is recognized for the diverse practice she pursued in her veterinary career since graduating from Mississippi State in 2000. She has practiced as a multi-species veterinarian and is a certified euthanasia instructor, and she was the director of the veterinary services at the SPCA in Tampa Bay. Today, Dr. Buisson engages herself as a hospice veterinarian, feline relief veterinarian, author, and lecturer. She owns Helping Hands Pet Hospice and runs a website called ahappyvet.com in Seminole, Florida. So please welcome Dr. Buisson.
Good morning, and I'm going to add my congratulations to everyone else's. You guys should be so proud of yourselves. I could lie to you and tell you that I remember my graduation breakfast. I have zero memory that it ever happened. When I told my mother that I was doing this, she said, "Oh, I remember your graduation breakfast." And I looked at her dead serious and said, "Was I there?" I don't remember it because I'm sure, like you, and I can see it on all of your faces, you're excited, you're thrilled, you're exhausted, and you're probably terrified. And that's okay. It happens to all of us. So I was thinking about that day, and if I could go back and meet myself at my graduation breakfast, what would I tell myself to make my life a little easier in the future? I graduated on my 25th birthday, and I thought I had this down. I thought I was a grown-up, I was ready to go, I knew everything I needed to know, and I look back, and that was 16 years ago now, and I just roll my eyes, because I had no idea what the world had in store for me. So now that I've given away my age, and also I should have probably entitled it If I Could Send an Email to Me, because nobody writes letters anymore. But I'll kind of give you an idea of what I would tell myself and hope that since I can't go back and help myself, that maybe I can help you just a little bit. So I'd start off with, dear Cherie, happy birthday, and congratulations on your graduation. This is a big deal. You know, I know for a lot of you, this is just what you do. You know, you're just awesome. You don't think you are, but you just go and you do your awesome thing, and you study and you make good grades and you exhaust yourself and you just keep going like the little Energizer bunnies that you are, and you just make it happen. But what you've made happen is unicorn special. It's just awesome. So don't discount that. You're not just a vet. You're just a vet, man. It's awesome. So be sure that you appreciate this huge accomplishment that you've made. So the first thing that I would tell myself is your diploma is real. It is absolutely 100% real. You are not a fraud. You were not stealthy enough to get through vet school with nobody figuring out that you don't know what you're talking about. It's perfectly natural to have imposter syndrome, to feel like you don't know what you're doing and everyone else does. It happens to all of us. I've been out 16 years. I travel the country and speak at lectures. And honestly, I sat in the bathroom this morning looking at myself in the mirror and thought, what if this is the lecture where they figure out that I don't know what I'm doing? 16 years. So it's normal. It's actually been shown that smarter, more successful people have more imposter syndrome. So if you want to look at it that way, if you're unsure of yourself, you're probably really, really fantastic. So I would tell myself in 3 years, you're going to feel like you've kind of got this down. The first 3 years are rocky, and that's okay. You're just getting into practice. You can't be good at this right out of the gate, so don't expect that. In 5 years, you'll have younger veterinarians that you're mentoring, and you'll feel pretty good about it. In 10 years, you'll be considered an expert, and that still terrifies me that people say, oh, Dr. Buisson is an expert in hospice and euthanasia. Oh my God, really? So hang in there. It's coming. Be patient with yourself. Learn as much as you can. Hopefully you will be as lucky as I did to have a wonderful mentor. Dr. Godfrey is right here. He was my first boss. God, he put up with a lot of questions, a lot of crying, a lot of, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. And so a large part of the reason I'm up here today is because of him. The second thing I will tell you is that perfection is not possible. I know in your tidy little type A veterinarian heart, you really, really want to be perfect. You're really, really not going to be, ever. Ever, ever. So let it go. Strive to be excellent. You can be excellent. Excellent is totally achievable. But don't try to be perfect, because You're dealing with living things, both human and animal. There is no perfection there anywhere. Just when you think you're all good at exploratory laparotomies, you're going to open an animal up and something in there is just not going to be right, and it's just normal for that animal. So learn from everything. If you see something that you've never seen before, that's fantastic. That's a way to learn. So don't be afraid of that. You're going to make mistakes, and they may cost money. They may cost lives. It's going to happen. Any veterinarian who tells you they've never made a mistake is either brand new or lying. So make your mistakes. As long as you learn from them and you own up to them, they're okay. Just move along. It's going to hurt and it's going to be awful and you're going to feel bad about it, and that's all right. Just keep moving forward and keep learning. Speaking of learning, if something lights a spark in you, if you go to a conference and something makes you go, oh, cool, go after that. Find out all you can about it. If it's stem cell, if it's hospice, whatever it is, if it makes you feel good and it makes you feel like an awesome veterinarian, go after it. It doesn't have to be on the beaten path, and I'm really glad that Charlie told you what she told you, because my life certainly hasn't been the beaten path. I spent 8 years beating myself up trying to fit myself into a private practice and be a private practice vet. And what I didn't know, the big secret, is that I wasn't meant to be a private practice vet, and I didn't know that was an option. So anything is an option. Anything you can do. I know people who no longer use their veterinary degree at all. They're doing something completely different. If that's what makes you happy and lets you live the life you want to live, do it. Don't let anybody tell you what you should be doing. What you should be doing is trying to live the best life that you can. If you had told me at graduation that I was going to be a hospice veterinarian who goes to people's homes and puts their pets to sleep, I would have laughed so hard. Because seriously, euthanasia was the worst thing ever the first few years in practice. What I will tell you about euthanasia is to remember that it is a gift. It is a privilege that you have. Our human counterparts wish that they had it, and they're making moves forward so that they can have it for their patients. So it's a treatment option. It's not a failure. It's not that you didn't do something right. It's that you have the ability to release an animal from suffering, and don't ever take that for granted. The next thing I'm going to tell you is about the people in your life, and this is personal, professional. If there is someone or something that is making you lose sleep at night, it's time to change your relationship with whatever that is. Whether it's your boss, a client, a colleague, a spouse. If you're losing sleep over them, the one thing you really, really, truly need to be healthy, fix it. Whatever you have to do. And it may hurt and it may be awful, but it will be worth it. No one is worth losing sleep over. You will lose sleep over patients. Nothing you can do about that. Makes you a good veterinarian. Try not to do it as much as possible. I'm going to second what Dr. Godby said about me time. There is a tendency in us as veterinarians to give up what we love in order to please other people. We do it every day in practice. We give up things that we would rather be doing, like eating lunch, like going to the bathroom. Please don't give up going to the bathroom, for heaven's sakes, just go. Don't give those things up to please other people, because you will end up being resentful and they won't be any happier. So do your me time, have a hobby, and for God's sakes, let it be something that doesn't involve animals. Please. Okay, fostering, not a hobby. That's a job you do for free. So, and that's fine. Fostering is wonderful, but find something that gives you something that veterinary medicine doesn't. I quilt, and what quilting does for me is it lets me do something beautiful and creative. There's no blood. There are no body fluids at all, come to think of it. And if I cut something and I sew it wrong, nothing dies. It's a really awesome thing to have. And so you want to have that. And one of the best things about quilting is that it's something I can actually finish, because you will have stuff in your inbox when you die. So I like to have a project I can finish. There's always another sick patient. There's always somebody who needs something from you. So have a hobby that makes you happy. And if you need to, declare a pajama day. This is one of my favorite strategies in the whole wide world. Is there are days, my husband's an extrovert and he's very busy. And there are days I don't want to be busy. So I will put on my pajamas and refuse to get out of them for an entire day. And after a while, he comes in every few hours and checks on me. What you doing? I am sitting here in my pajamas. What are you doing? And one day he said, can I get my pajamas and join you? And I said, yeah. So every year when the Tour de France comes on in July, we have pajama days for 3 weeks. And it has made us so much healthier as a couple and as people just to let the whole world be busy while we're not. We're not in our pajamas for 3 weeks straight. I do work. But on the weekends and in the evenings, we get in our PJs, we eat leftovers, and we watch the Tour de France, which is one of our favorite things. Something else that I would tell myself is that there's going to be this really cool phone, and it's like a computer in your pocket. Put it down. Just turn it off. Put it down. You're going to be on call. You're going to have things that you need to do. But turn that thing off. You're missing the whole world while you're looking at that screen. And I'm guilty as much as anybody else. You know, there are days where I'm like, I've been looking at this thing for like 4 hours now. Maybe I should turn it off. Get outside. There's a whole world out there of beautiful things. And the more time you spend out in nature and away from technology, the happier you're going to be. So put the phone down. Don't be addicted to it. What's going on Facebook is really not as important as you think it is. If you miss it, it's okay. If you miss all the sunrises and all the sunsets, you're going to be really sorry. Every day when my husband and I get up in the wee hours of the morning and we ride our bicycles in the dark before work and we get to watch the sun come up, one of us always looks at the other one and says, I feel sorry for people who don't get to see this. Get up one morning. Even if you're not a morning person, get up, go someplace pretty and see the sunrise. It's worth it. It just lets you know that the world is much bigger than our day-to-day lives. Please, please, please take every single solitary second of your vacation time. Trust me on this. Your office needs a break from you as much as you need a break from your office. Don't cash it out. Don't roll it over. Get out and do something non-veterinary related. It's good for you. You need it. You need to get away from this. This is an intense emotional job and you need to have a break. As boring as it is, get as much insurance right now as you can while you're young before you start to fall apart. Seriously, okay? Just do it. Insure yourself, protect yourself. Bad stuff happens and you're going to be really grateful that you have a parachute. If the justification for something you're about to do starts with, against my better judgment, don't do it. There is no one on this planet, including my mother, who is worth risking your license for. If they're going to get mad at you because you won't do something illegal or just kind of for them, they are not your friend. They are not your mother. So I tell my mom's animals get an exam every year, and she doesn't get medicine unless she comes and sees me once a year. And you know what? She's okay with that because I'm free. So make sure that you protect that license. I want you to sit here. The work that you have done to get here will never be more vivid than it is right at this moment. Okay, remember that when somebody asks you to do something that might put that whole career you worked for in danger. Protect your license, practice good medicine, write up your records, write them up thoroughly. WNL is not a record. So make sure that you write everything up and you protect yourself because you have worked hard, you've spent so much money on this, it's not worth risking. And the last thing I would tell myself is that there's this thing called compassion fatigue that you're not going to know about until it happens to you. And if I could go back and do one thing differently, I would go back and tell myself to find out all I could about it because I didn't know what compassion fatigue was, but the first time I heard the words, I thought, I've got that. I didn't know what it was, I had no definition, but those two words together, I was losing my compassion and I was just tired. Find out all you can about it and know that the best thing that you can do is take care of yourself. Exercise. Put the donuts down, eat something healthy. Dude, eat a green vegetable, okay? It's not going to kill you. Do it. Get some exercise. You need it. You need to work off all this stress. This is a highly mental job, and while there are physical aspects to it, your mind isn't worn out at the end of the day. Or your body isn't worn out at the end of the day. Your mind is. You need to have your body in the same place. So make sure that you exercise. It will help keep you healthier. It will decrease your stress. Have some respect for your body. It got you this far, okay? It's put up with an awful lot in the last several years. Give it a break. Do some nice things for it. Ask for help. Nobody can do this by themselves. And if you do it all by yourself and you destroy yourself, no one will be impressed. So ask for help from your colleagues. Remember that everybody's in the same boat. You know, social media, one of the things I really dislike about it is that you see everybody's best self. You know, you're going to see everyone's representative. That's not what we all feel like. Okay, I was in the bathroom talking to myself this morning, remember about how I may not be good enough to do this job? Okay, everybody feels that way at one time or another. And one of the best things you can do is get with your colleagues, just go out, have drinks, or go out and do something fun and talk about the troubles that you're having. Because we tend to compare our worst to what we think is everyone else's best. And that's a big disservice to us and our colleagues in the profession. So make sure that you talk about things that are wrong and reach out when things are wrong, okay? I don't want to hear about any of you on the news, ever, okay? You should be reaching out. If you are having trouble, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have trouble. I have talked to hundreds and hundreds of veterinarians, and the number of them that suffer from mental illness is huge. I'm one of them. I suffer from chronic anxiety. But I'm doing something about it, and I ask for help, and I limit what I ask of myself so that I can function and be happy. And you can do that too. If you are struggling and having a hard time, please reach out. We're all here. You can find me at the Happy Vet website. You have your FVMA representatives, you have your colleagues, your friends, your classmates. Text each other. Just let each other know how you're doing. There is nothing better when you're unhappy than finding out that other people feel the same way and then doing something about it. And lastly, remember that the only person in this whole wide world that you have control over is you. So whether you're happy is entirely up to you. You can choose to change your behavior to make everything okay. And when you push at other people and try to make them change so that they can make you happy, you're just going to end up miserable. Take responsibility for your own happiness and your own life, and make the decisions and stand up for yourself and demand the things that you need. You know, if you're going to work all day and then you come home and you're expected to act like a stay-at-home spouse or parent, that is not sustainable. Everybody needs to pitch in, everybody needs to help, and it's not your job to take care of everyone. Take care of yourself first. You can't pour from an empty cup. So I'm very, very glad that you all had me here today. I hope that some of the things I've said have helped. I want you to know that I'm proud of you, and I am so excited for you, and I hope that if you ever want to talk or want to reach out or are interested in hospice or want to learn more, that you give me a call and let me know. We are all here for you. We are all proud of you, and welcome to the family.